In this topic, you will learn how to define business partners. To begin, business partners is an entity that can be a supplier, customer, sales rep, carrier, and so on. Business partners can have a specific role or play multiple roles, meaning you can define a business partner as both a customer and a supplier at the same time. Now, regardless of whether a business partner has multiple roles or single role, you must define information in both the business partner function and the entity-specific functions. It's also important to note the system automatically generates a business partner record when creating customers, suppliers, carriers, sales reps, and so on. Let's take a look at defining a new business partner. You're setting up a new business partner that you want to have multiple roles, customer and supplier. The business partner setup is in Common Data Module, in the BP's block, and the business partner or BP's function. As we open it up, you can see on the left list there are multiple or many business partners that are already defined. To define a brand new business partner, we click New. Now we can enter a category. It is optional. The category would either be customer or supplier. Because the roles is going to be customer and supplier, they're going to be different, so we're not going to assign one here. By selecting a category, though, it does provide defaults for the customer and supplier, so you don't have to create them yourself. Now we'll start off with the BP's ID, which is required. The short description, it's used on some pages and reports when there's not enough space to view the long title. So we'll enter that information in. And the name. Now the country, the language, and the currency are defaulted from parameters, as you can see. You can include a site tax ID, a doc type, a SIC code as well. And if it's a physical person, you can check the physical person box. We'll go ahead and select mailing prohibited to keep it from being part of mail merge. On the intersite section is used to identify the business partner record as an intersite intercompany business partner used for intercompany stock transfers between sites. Now the roles section identifies the roles associated with the business partner record, which are automatically assigned based on the role that's created. Example, when we create the customer role checkbox will automatically be checked. There are roles, however, that you can select here. That's including public sector, miscellaneous business partner, service supplier, service caller, and licensor. We'll go ahead and enter an address now. The address, you have to start off with a ID, identifying the address. And you can have multiple addresses that you can enter here as well. Enter the address itself. Because the postal codes are stored in a table, if you enter the correct postal code and it's in the table, it identifies the city and also the state. You can see at the end of the field, this is Google Maps. If the address is in the system, it will take you to Google Maps. As you can see, you can enter a website as well. One address will be the default address as well. You can see you can enter multiple different telephone numbers and also other email addresses as well. On the Accounting tab, this is used by accounting for consolidation and any information required for European accounting. Also, the accounting code and the item type for expense account fields are only accessible if I were to select the miscellaneous box on the Identity tab, which allows you to create an internal business partner like a salesperson and be able to record expenses associated with that business partner. The Bank ID tab is used to record the bank information as well as associated banks, so you can enter multiple different banks. And then the contacts. Contacts, you have to start off with a code for the contacts. You can either enter a contact here because this is also stored in a table. I could also use the selection window or the selection icon there to select a contact already stored. But I'll enter one here. As you can see, the last name is required. You enter the first name, and you can insert a function. This is a local menu, so you can have many different functions, including the ones that are actually stored there. Sales department, you can enter a role. The role is coming from a miscellaneous table. It's not required. Language, birth date, category, all those are miscellaneous tables that can be updated, so you can enter any information you like in those particular fields. The address comes from the address tab, or if there are multiple different addresses, you can select the address where the contact resides. And then you enter email address, telephone number, fax number, and you can also enter a mobile number as well. At least one contact becomes the default contact. And we'll also do mailing prohibited here as well. On the BP's Company tab, this information is used to define tax rules for a selected business partner or BP by company. It is only necessary to define this information if specific rules must be defined. Now, in case of multiple company management, you can prohibit the entry of account postings for a business partner for certain companies at this particular tab. Our next step is to create. And so our business partner has been defined. You can see all the other areas here as well, including inquiries, actions that you can perform here. Now, where would this be used? What's our next step? So this is just a business partner. If I wanted to define them, which I did, as a customer or supplier, I can actually click the icon here on the right panel for customer or supplier, carrier, or sales rep to define the additional roles. I click customer, I click new, and just by entering a category and the ID pops up, I can create a customer from that business partner. As mentioned earlier, if I were to create the customer first, it would automatically generate the business partner record in the business partner. Here, all I have to do is enter a few other details, like a tax rule, and create. Now, if I go back down to the business partner, you can see the role has automatically been checked. And I would do the same thing for the supplier. And now you know how to define a business partner, as well as the flexibility of being able to assign multiple roles with the simple, easy click of the button.